Okay, in this video, we're going to walk through make-buy analysis. Now, before you watch this, I want to make sure you've done the break-even analysis because this video is going to build on some of those things you learned in that video. So make sure you've done the break-even, make sure you understand how that works, and then we'll dive into make-buy analysis. To do this, we're going to follow solved problem number 1 from your homework. This is on page 208. So we're going to walk through solved problem number 1 on page 208, and this will prepare you for doing problem number 7 in your homework assignment. Okay, so solved problem number 1. A firm's manager must decide whether to make or buy a certain item used in the production of vending machines. Making the item would involve an annual lease cost of $150,000. Cost and volume estimates are below. Cost and volume estimates are as follows, and I don't have them on here. Okay, I'm going to add them really quick. I'm just going to copy them from here. Over to here. Okay, so annual fixed cost, if we make, is $150,000. Our fixed cost, of course, if we buy, is nothing. Our variable cost for making is 60. Our variable cost for buying is 80. And then our annual units, what we expect to sell, is 12,000, no matter what. Let's get our comma in there so that looks uniform. Okay. So given these numbers, should the firm buy or make this item? And then is there a possibility that volume could change in the future? At what volume would the manager be indifferent to buying or making? So let's set this up. So we're going to set this up very similar to the way we did our last problem. So I want to define our unit start and our unit increment. Say 1,000. Our columns are then Q, our make fixed costs, make variable costs, make total costs, buy fixed costs, buy variable costs, and buy total cost. So our first Q is this unit start. So I'm going up there and doing function F4 to fix that. Our make fixed cost is that Q times, our fixed cost is always the same. It doesn't matter what the Q is. So our make fixed cost is just here. So function F4. Our make variable cost is then Q times this, 60. Our make total cost is then our fixed cost plus our variable cost. Our buy fixed cost is always here, which is 0. Our buy variable cost is Q times this cell using F4 to fix it. And then our buy total cost is fixed cost plus variable cost. Okay, so we know if we are only going to sell 1 unit, it would cost us $150,060 to make it, or it costs us just $80 to buy it. So we know if we're doing just 1 unit, buying makes a lot more sense than making. It's going to cost us a lot less. Okay, but we want to find the point where making actually makes more sense than buying. So we're going to build our chart. So our next Q is going to be this one plus our unit increment. We're going to use function F4 to fix that. Okay, now we want to grab all of these cells grab the box and drag it down. Okay, so now we have the formulas for doing 1,001 of these. And now we want to build our whole chart, so we're going to grab all of these and drag this down for a ways. Yeah, that should be far enough. You know, I don't want to start that at 1. I want to actually start that at 0, so our numbers are a little more even. There. Okay. So we have our chart now. We want to build our graph. So I'm going to highlight this entire chart, this entire table, and say insert the scatter diagram. And I want the scatter with straight lines. This is the same one we used before. And here we have our chart. I'm going to drag it over here a ways and make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. Okay, and we don't need quite that many lines on there, so I'm going to do select data. And really all I want is make fixed cost, make total cost, by fixed cost, and by total cost. So I'm going to get rid of my variable costs just to clean it up a little bit. There. Okay, so what you're looking at here, the green line is our cost to buy the pies. I'm sorry, these aren't pies. The piece for the vending machine. The green part is to buy it. The gray part is to make it. So we know that if we sell, say, just 5,000 units, we know that buying is cheaper. But we know if we sell 15,000 units, making it is actually cheaper. And the lines cross somewhere around there. Okay. So let's look at our question. I'm going to copy these down here. So given these numbers, I'm going to fix my misspelling here. These numbers, should the firm buy or make this item? Okay, so what was we were expecting 12,000 units. So 12,000 is going to be, it's kind of hard to see. So 12,000 is here. Okay, so on our chart, 12,000 is there. So for 12,000, it costs us 870,000 to make it, or it costs us 960,000 to buy it. So we know that making is going to be cheaper if our number of units is 12,000. So here I'm going to say make. Okay. Now, question B. There's a possibility that the volume could change in the future. At what volume would the manager be indifferent to buying or making? So essentially, he's indifferent at the point that the two are the same. So if the cost of making and the cost of buying is equal, then it doesn't matter to him which he does. So, and we can express that as a formula. So it's essentially what is Q, where total cost make equals total cost buy. Okay, that's what we're trying to solve for. So what is total cost of making it? Total cost of making it is our fixed cost plus our variable costs of making. So what was our fixed cost to make is 150,000 plus our variable cost of making, which is 60 times Q. 150,000 plus 60Q equals our total cost to buy. Our total cost to buy, we had no fixed cost, so it's just the variable cost, which is 80Q. So we've got the formula 150,000 plus 60Q equals 80Q. So to find this Q where the two cross, we need to solve this formula. So to do this, first I'm going to subtract 60Q from both sides. 150,000 equals 20Q. I then know that Q equals 150,000 divided by 20, which is 7,500. So this point is 7,500 units, and we can highlight that. And let's see in our chart if that makes sense. So we know that they cross somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000. Yeah, which 75,000 would be somewhere right in there. I'm sorry, 7,500. Okay, so that is solved problem number 1 from your textbook from page 208. Using that, you can solve problem number 7 in your homework assignment. Just be careful when you look at problem number 7, you're actually comparing 3 different scenarios. You're comparing making it versus 2 options of buying it. Okay, so take a look at your homework, walk through this, play this as many times as you want to, pausing it whenever you need to try to figure out, to understand how this all works. If you have any questions at all, shoot me a note and we'll talk them out. Talk to you later. Bye.